it's Rich Mclean and Crystal. I'm a druggo, a schizo, a pedo, a rapist, a extortionist. I'm too smart for my own good, and I'm too dumb, and I've got delusions of persecution, and I'm absolutely fucked up, and I don't deserve health, and I don't deserve wealth, and I don't deserve prosperity, and I don't deserve to talk to the police, and I don't deserve to be a whistleblower, and I don't deserve to be a person in the democracy of this country, and I don't deserve a house, I don't deserve medication, I've got cancer, I don't deserve care, I've got a mental illness, I don't deserve care, I don't deserve a lawyer, I deserve to be oppressed from getting a lawyer, I deserve to be oppressed from reporting crime to police, and I deserve to absolutely, utterly not be a whistleblower anywhere, anytime, anyhow, and I'm a fucking cunt. So, hang on. I think I hear Jesus coming. My voices are saying Jesus is coming. What? Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. I'll let you talk. Sure. Hang on. Jesus is coming. I just got to put this on so I don't get any interference. Jesus would like to speak about Rich. I'm Jesus. Rich is channeling me, or the Laughing Buddha, with a message to the government and Scott Morrison and ministers regarding the CDD scheme and the public of Australia. Rich isn't suicidal. He has sentience. You can't take that from him or me. Intuition is an allegory for God and the divine. And Jesus, me, talks with the divine knowledge. Rich has a public profile of a human rights awarded advocate, an artist, an illustrator, and a human rights awarded person, an author. Wow. He's an avant-garde and revolutionary and paradigm smasher. You got it from Jesus. He's a multi-dimensional sentience in an earth monkey body for his earth experience. Oh, that's nice. And, Rich showers love and forgiveness on all his oppressors. That's you. And the wrongdoers. And especially, he advocates for the light workers, the storytellers, the love makers, the avant-garde, the artists, the whistleblowers, the bereaved, the Indigenous, the youth, the women, the trans kids and adults of trans kids, the queer, the marginalised, the authentic and creators, the outcast, the ostracised, abused, survivors of child sexual abuse, and the people who face insurmountable odds at the hands of government tyranny. That's what Rich does. And he's still doing it right now. Please acknowledge his human value because he has needs and he's suffered great detriment. Please accept Rich's forgiveness and mine. No, actually, I'm Jesus. You're going to forgive. You're going to beg to me, and I'll forgive you. And Rich wants to live a simple life. Laws. Here we go. Point 1: man-made law, moral law, and spirit law. Man-made law is responsible for the veil of secrecy, slander, and universal oppression upholding Rich's detriment. It's true. Now, I'm Jesus and I say that Rich can't go to the police. Rich can't be a whistleblower. Rich can't get a lawyer. That's because man-made laws flawed and humans are flawed. Anyway, there's another law, a man-made one, and it says from the Mental Health Act that you have... there's an act that says that the Charter for Human Rights of People with a Disability, that would be Rich, has equal access to the law, equality before the law, not to be exploited or indeed persecuted or tortured, which pretty much the last 15 months since he died has been, and not to be denied prosperity or his property, and not to be arbitrarily denied life. And every public service official or government official has to act within that charter. Now, as Rich's experience has shown, this isn't the case. Laws say that a kind of just a clinical nurse from the local mental health facility can say Rich's delusions of persecution, but we all know they're real, and lock him up in hospital. How about that? Rich actually has a PhD in what's mad and what's not. Fancy. So Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet, the freedom of information, Rich asked for his freedom of information, this is Jesus speaking, and as a person who's had personal dealings with MP Minister Birmingham from the NDIS and MP Greg Hunt, who covered up some evidence a few years ago that Rich had a legitimate complaint about, and who says that not eating isn't a health problem, it's a NDIS problem. But of course, NDIA Minister Reynolds rejected the last 50 of his invoices, rendering him a vagrant. And the other one was Minister Birmingham. He knows about the detriment Rich has suffered. And the Attorney General. Yeah. So Rich wrote to the Attorney General pointing out that he lost over $1.5 million at the Australian Human Rights Commission. Doesn't seem fair if they're impartial and they free kick it to the other team. And also that both before and after his hospitalisation, in which he was found unresponsive with no pulse in a public hospital and revived from a certain death, I forgot what I was saying. What were you saying? He was saying that he's had some talks with other ministers as well, and the health minister and lots of commissions. The Mental Health Complaints Commissioner, Health Complaints Commissioner in APRA. All this is kind of understemmed by a few powerful players. Rich is a powerful player. He's got sentience like Jesus. And I just want to... Detriments like threatening or acting to threaten someone at the expense of their health or whatever. Clearly, Rich has suffered that. He suffered $1 to $2 million loss at AFCA. And further, after his death, which he was found and survived, he now has a bit of a brain fart memory issue, and they kept doing it. So Rich blew the whistle. But now they've banned him. So, that's what I was saying. So he pointed all this out to the Attorney General, as well as the fact that his work cover case has gone to the AAT, that's just under her portfolio, and that this is really shit for Rich, in that not only was he scammed out of his job and had an injury from work, but he lost his HF income insurance, in which he found Sheena Jack was fraudulently editing documents. And then he lost all faith in humanity, and he was framed by a very powerful person, Stephen Isonides, who goes under different names in the tax department. You can look it up. And he owes him $500,000 from a former relationship. Now, everyone thinks Steve's a good bloke. He's a good bloke. We're all good blokes. But some people act with conscious intent to try and destroy others. And that's gone to the whole government. And he had a lawyer. He used to work for ASIC. How funny. Now, he embezzled $1.5 million in an offshore tax haven and was caught by ASIO. And then, he got a slap on the wrist. And poor Rich was exploited the whole time he was with him. Living on a pension while he was earning like $300,000 or $400,000 a year. Not really fair. And the evidence of the Dr. Whittaker case, which is all on killhim.info, which Rich has created to stick up for himself, he had a legitimate complaint, but his lawyer, Dr. Whittaker, could you believe he doesn't even have it registered with GST or an ABN? All this time later we find that out. And then his lawyer, Mr. Ball of Ball & Partners, was a 40-year experienced lawyer, and he absolutely set up Rich to not get a lawyer because of the Steve thing and his thing, and because that he informs government policy and sits on the Australian legal bar. Poor Rich didn't have much of a chance to get some justice there, did he? And he fought and fought and fought for so many years, and he was called an extortionist. Poor Rich. And at the same time that they called him an extortionist, he actually gave back $100,000 to someone who gifted it to him because they said it was a mistake. Doesn't seem right, does it? And anyway, with the AAT, so Rich's work cover case, which is now a TPD, probably not a few $1 million, and that they actually caused the detriment of, the injury that they're now trying. It's very confusing. He doesn't have access to the law or justice. So in actual fact, every public service official has to follow the Charter of Human Rights, and no one is, and he's going to predictably lose $1.5 million. And that would really seem out of homelessness, which he's in right now. And he told the Attorney General all this, and with the corruption at Comcare, hello, Paul Fowler. Paul Fowler's the old boss at WorkSafe. He's also a lawyer. And when Rich contacted WorkSafe for the appeal, because they rejected him, of course, which was a setup, he asked Paul Fowler, he asked WorkSafe to help him, but they didn't. Oh, outrageous. And Paul, the guy who rejected him, is the old head at WorkSafe. It's like a cosmic ballet. And so that's called corruption. And Rich pointed all this out to the Attorney General, Michaelia Cash. Hi, Michaelia. And so he's in detriment millions of dollars already. He's died once, and he's now got a bit of a brain injury. He also has cancer, which is 4 months in and he's got no help for. Squatting in a house with his dog and the rats. Not a very good position for Rich to be in. He's being threatened with eviction. And you know what Senator Cash did? She did like they all do. He deserves to be treated as a mad person. That's what they do to Rich. Because they can. Because he is a bit mad. It's a little bit of column A. It's a little bit of column B. But does he need welfare or does he need justice? Because if he had justice, he would be helping all the people, amazingly, that he said at the start of this little video. Anyway, I just want to say that right now, as Jesus speaking for Rich, Dr. Mclean is bereft, that's a nice word, bereft of money, food, medication, cancer treatment, a dignified home, or one he can even afford. He's squatting in squalor, and he receives death threats at the door and on the phone. And he receives abuse ongoing from his former clients, which he can prove. And the big three-tiered tiara is that he can't go to police. He can't report this to police. Otherwise, they call him crazy and lock him up. And he can't get a lawyer. That's because the government at AAT, apart from the fact that the government's already suing Richard, the government, having already killed him and then covered it up, have a 25-year experienced lawyer in Kate Wilson. Hi, Kate. And Kate's standing in absolute opposition to legal privilege, in absolutely destroying Rich at the AAT because it's cooked from the top. That's right, cooked from the top. So Rich can't be a whistleblower at IBAC, at ASIC, at APRA, or the Commonwealth Ombudsman. It's pretty amazing stuff. And now, the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet, when Rich tried to untangle why this is all happening to him, at first said it was, his freedom of information was voluminous. Sounds like a lush breast, doesn't it? And it was too complex. Well, that makes sense, because Rich is a formerly public speaker and human rights advocate, and he's stood up for all sorts of people for like over 2 decades. And he's worked extraordinarily with all sorts of marginalised people, actually being a little bit like me, Jesus. And then And so they would obviously have lots of information on him because he's actually spoken in the Parliament. And he's spoken from Montreal to Dubbo to Warrnambool. Maybe you know Rich. Maybe you know him from a certain point in time when he came to your town and had a talk or even spoke to you. And, you know, I think he's a righteous dude. And it's just a big shame that, first of all, the Prime Minister of Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet said that Rich's FOI was too voluminous and complex, and then it came back and he doesn't exist. Isn't that funny? It's a bit like the age of the sinners at the end of the Anthropocene when Jesus, when God dies. Anyway, Rich forgives everyone for acting with the resonance to aid and abet his death and making him homeless. He's still got a sense of humour. And this is via amplifying the chances of his suicide and providing him with drugs. Anyone would think Rich is on drugs. Maybe they're right. Who knows? And he forgives everyone by attacking him via proxy of government agencies through half-baked truths, such as his, whatever, that have an element of truth but are easily exploitable because, of course, we want to destroy him, rob him of prosperity, and kill him. And that's what happens, to a lot of truth seekers and the avant-garde and the love makers and the storytellers and the poets and the artists, and they live quite tragic lives. Rich's tragedy already happened. He died in February 2021, and then he was actively rejected from the mental health system and dumped like a hot potato. Actually, the government, I'm speaking as the government now, will fuck him, put him on job seeker. Yeah, and they did, and that wasn't very nice, since he's been on a pension before. So, yeah, poor Rich, he has an undignified life. He's been robbed of millions of dollars in prosperity, which the government condones, and he knows too much. And there's a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which he's already proven. There's a thirst of his blood, and Rich can't understand why his whole family and friends are in on it too. But to quote his sister, "You're a drugger and a schizo and get the fuck out of our lives." I like how bold Jodie is. If it's one of the good things about it, it's her boldness. He's been persecuted, clearly. They blame him for being on drugs, but they've rejected his drugs, forcing him to, have some fun, because his life's got no dignity, worth, or value to anyone in the world. And then they blame him for being mad, which, of course, just because you don't understand him doesn't mean he's mad. It means you're deficient. And then blaming him for having delusions of persecution and all sorts of other ailments, when we all know that his persecution, like me, Jesus, has been a fact. Anyway, I'll come back in a minute and talk about Rich's terrible detriment and why that he should be acknowledged as a person with sentience, human worth, dignity, and be afforded very basic things, such as a house, healthcare, being non-prejudiced, not being the victim of a conspiracy to pervert the cause of justice, having access to police, having access to being a whistleblower, a democratic person in this democracy, and also having access to man-made law, that old thing. I know, I'm Jesus, but, give Rich a chance and give him a lawyer and get him some money so he's not homeless. Thanks. My government, Jesus is gone. Detriment is, a really horrible thing, especially when it's dealt by systemic government agencies via proxy to hurt me and kill me. So I don't want you to admit that, but if you could just admit that's been a bit of a real head fart for me, and I would love if we got to an atonement just by affording me the stipend of an above average wage every month. That would be good, as opposed to the millions and millions of dollars of detriment you actually owe me of what I used to be on. That's pretty fair. I need a home to get away from the death threats. I need my basic needs met, like food, medication, cancer specialist, psychiatrist, psychologist. Not one from the hospital that was an agent in killing me, but an independent one. And I will not hold the government to account. But we need to agree on a detriment amount. Is that fair enough? I just want to say I'm not a rapist, pedophile, dog fucker, or an extortionist, or any other things. A conspiracy to pervert the course of justice has actually occurred, and it still is, and everyone's bought into it. I demand representation at the AAT for my work cover. I want my HCF insurance paid because I've got a medical certificate from 2000. They think it's a prior existing injury, but I had to take time off uni because I had a sore elbow. Ridiculous. I want a just separation from former partner Stefan Isonides. That's pretty simple. I'll accept 250 grand, and I won't even dub him in for the murder he was at. I want my old work cover case covered. That'd be good. I want my permanent incapacity and brain fart acknowledged from the systemic gaslighting abuse that ended my manslaughter and then covered up by the same government that caused it and is now still trying to kill me. And the 15-month torture I was put through in isolation all by myself, which all the family bought into and every human being on the planet bought into, and didn't help Rich, apart from just a few people, which Rich will thank in massive amounts. I really would like a non-biased GP, a non-biased psychiatrist, independent one, a neurologist to assess my brain fart, a cancer specialist to get the cancers, I want to be relocated, I want a house, I want my basic needs met, and I'll be basically off welfare and the NDISA. And then finally, I'll be set free to help people again in the community, which I've always done for my whole life. And please, if you can share this video, that would be great, because I'm really kind of like this nice person who's still kept his sense of humour over an enormous amount of persecution, and I still have love for everyone, and we're only human, but one can only cope with so much, and to do this to me continually, especially with the knowledge that the Office of Prime Minister has now said I don't exist, really exposes a form of tyranny that is a vile victimisation of one person, and it's really obtuse and abhorrent. So please share this video. It's Dr. Rich Mclean from killhim.info. Have a look at the evidence, and everyone's forgiven. No one gets in trouble. But I'd like just to have my dignity restored and some prosperity in order to live a simple life with Crystal the dog. Crystal! Do you want to play pick-em-ups? Pick-em-ups! Pick-em-ups! We'll play pick-em-ups on the bed. Yeah, so I'm a squatting infamous vagrant, and we thank you for your time and sharing this video. Thanks a lot. Bye.